Watch along with GB News. Nigel Farage is out on the water. I'm out on the water because there are lots of migrants coming in. He doesn't look like he's having a very good time. You can barely hear him. I'm out on the water here. He's being buffeted by the wind. He's got some kind of Neil Oliver type scarf on. It's very natty. It's just ridiculous. Now, GB News have decided to go with, I think, two presenters, because of what they've been doing is they've been chopping and changing and nothing's been working. They've got really bad viewing figures, as you know, and for the third day running we've got scrubby bearded Darren and worked out Kirsty. Now Kirsty's got to be happy with that. At least she doesn't have to sit with that Nana, because I don't think they really get on. And this could be the dream team. They're throwing some more mud against the wall. What else can we do to try and get more people to watch? Well, you could make it a bit funnier. Actually, it's unintentionally funny most of the time, but you could do that. You could get some the same presenters, because they're the ones people seem to like. Well, the 4 or 5 people who are watching. Now, where are we now? Oh, earlier on, we announced a really important news story, which was that the oldest swan in the UK has died. Okay, there's a lot of things happening today, but yeah, there you go. And then early on as well, someone sent in a note or an email to say the UK migrants coming to the UK is exceeding the US figures, which I don't think that's quite right, but Darren openly laughing at it. Now, a very serious story. So, what are you laughing for, mate? It's not really funny, is it? Migrants dying on a little boat. Yeah. Of course, the migrant crisis, and I'm watching it as I'm speaking to you, of course, the migrant crisis is something, I mean, they're calling it crisis, is something that they want to talk about today. They usually have one story and mine it until it's dead, really. And then they move on to another one tomorrow. But the migrant crisis will be something they'll be liking. So let's see. Apologies for the eye, by the way. Hay fever. Yeah. It's rotten, isn't it? Yes, they are having to say that migrants pay thousands and thousands of pounds to come over here. But you see, it's very difficult for them, because on the one hand they're saying this is really dangerous for them. On the other hand, they're saying they're economic migrants. They're not really migrants who belong here. So it's very difficult for them to walk a fine line where they say it's very dangerous and we don't want anybody to be in any kind of physical danger. And they shouldn't be here. How dare they? Yesterday, Farage said they get 4-star hotels. You know, on his programme, not yesterday, the other day, on Monday, they get 4-star hotels, they high-five each other and punch the air when they get here. They've got new iPhones, because he knows all about this, because he's been on there when they've arrived. Oh, yeah. Excuse me, mate, what kind of phone have you got? This is an iPhone. Really, I'll report that. You know, it's just ridiculous. You might as well have said they get Michelin chefs to come in and cook them food. They're getting red pepper hummus and sourdough bread. You might as well have said that. They bring their PlayStations over with them and their king-size beds in a little dinghy. It's ridiculous. My library pictures now of some people who arrive walking on the beach. Just library pictures. Nothing else. I presume what they really want is for loads of migrants to arrive while Nigel Farage is out there. Because that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Nigel Farage has seen all these migrants coming over. But he won't. He'll just be buffeted by the waves all day. If he capsized, that would be extraordinary. I wonder if he's in a little dinghy. They want to know what we've got to say. I wonder what... I mean, actually, the thing about GB News is that if people wanted it to be a new right-wing Fox News, they haven't done that. They don't have the courage of their convictions. So it's the world. Sometimes you get a presenter who says, I firmly believe this. A guest will come on and say, but have you thought about this? Oh, yes, now I believe what you say. And then another guest comes on and says, no, I think this. Oh, I believe what you say again now. So now I've gone back to my first view. They never give us a real view. Apart from Nigel Farage, of course, who has his own 7 o'clock show. He can't present really. He does look like Davros behind that desk, that cardboard or chipboard desk that he's got. And of course, they're showing him from last night talking about the migrant crisis. Here we go. He's talking. This was supposedly yesterday. There's a picture of a bloke who is celebrating being here. He's probably celebrating getting across the channel, maybe. Oh, he wants people to be humble and very grateful for coming over here, like the people from Uganda in the 70s. Oh, yeah, he wants to thank you. Well, he is. He's very happy to be here. He's very happy to have made the trip.
Successfully, and let's not make the direct comparisons that you just made with Ugandan refugees. Very important what the UK eventually, albeit under extreme amount of pressure at that time, did. It then provided routes to this country for people to take. That man hasn't been provided with any safe routes at all.
Very good. The guest, who I don't know who that is, but the guest is telling him that when the Ugandans came over, and we took them eventually, they were provided with safe routes when they got here. This man hasn't been provided with any kind of safe routes. So he's making Farage is just looking at him as if to say, I'm not computing any of this because it doesn't chime with my worldview.
So if he is feeling a great deal of jubilation of finally arriving here, I can certainly empathise.
Absolutely. He's saying that you can empathise with the man's jubilation for getting here. Quite right. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if Farage said, and in his pocket there's an iPhone, and also a chitty for a 5-star hotel, the Hilton in London. That's where he's going to go, the Hilton, and he's going to get room service, and he's going to ruin the bedclothes. It's ridiculous. Oh, apparently the UK is going to withdraw the Brexit deal. That won't happen. You know, you vote for Brexit if you're a fisherman or and many other farmers, for instance, a lot of whom voted for Brexit. Now we've got, but my business is suffering. Yeah, really? Oh, well, we did say that to you. You didn't listen though, did you? So, that's what's happening, unfortunately. We're just doing the headlines now. So actually, there's not much to go wrong when you do the headlines. Although things go wrong all the time with this. Nigel Farage in his first programme said, we are a fledgling station. Yes, I know things have been bad technically. Yes, I know things have been... But they're bad all over the place. The content's bad. The presenters are bad. In general, the technical stuff's bad. And it continued. It hasn't got any better. There may be a fledgling station, but it hasn't got any better over the last, 5-6 weeks, is it? Something like that. When I look at a friend of mine said, have a look at BBC News and Sky News at the same time. And I did, and they were all doing stuff down the line, as GBN call it, on a social media platform from somebody else. They had 2 or 3 people. Everything worked. They didn't lose anybody. And the picture looked sharp. The picture for GBN News just looks... It just doesn't look... It looks like there's got some kind of gauze over the screen. I just think it looks like it's done on a shoestring. Looks like they can't afford really pin-sharp camera. Who have we got now? Oh, is this Stephen Dorrell coming on? See, what GBN do is they like to have ex-ministers. I mean, they get some ministers, but very few. It's generally ex-ministers who are looking to get a bit of work, I presume. I don't know what the arrangements are as far as them getting paid or whatever, but they generally have ex-ministers or people who are not in government anymore. Damien Green is quite a regular visitor. But Stephen Dorrell's talking about the COVID ping-demic, which they've tried to push, and it hasn't really worked for them. See what he's got to say.
Doesn't actually deal with the issue that confronts us, and what we need is a much more careful.
Stephen's he's calling from a corner of one of his rooms. It's a bit weird. So you see some nice, quite loud actually, curtains on one side. They're all reds and whites. Very, very nice. It's all very summery. And behind him, some pictures. It just looks like landscapes and that sort of thing. Yeah, quite boring actually. Stephen Dorrell there. I think I've summed him up in one little decor line.
It's all very well the Prime Minister saying act responsibly, but the government's extremely unclear about what acting responsibly in fact means.
I mean, what are your thoughts on also sort of the warnings from Sage? I mean, it's making the front pages today that, you know, in 3 weeks we could be looking at another wave. What are your feelings?
Yep, another wave of COVID that's possibly going to happen very soon. Opening nightclubs might do that, eh?
Ahead to see another wave. I think it's upon us. I think what's less clear, and nobody can know this, Sage can't know this, ministers can't know this, is exactly what the impact of that is going to be as the autumn develops on the National Health Service.
Well, I'm glad he's here to tell us these things. He says we can't know what another wave will do to the National Health Service. Well, I mean, I think actually I can probably elucidate on that. It will, another wave, mean more patients in the health service. So I don't think you have to be an ex-health minister to understand that, Stephen. I think I might have a better insight on it than you do, using modelling from the past.
It's no good just saying, oh, well, we've broken the link between the virus and hospital.
Oh, blimey, I tell you what, this hay fever's terrible today.
Of course, very good news.
Not so hot though out there, so that's good.
And need to be careful about is what the impact is going to be of returning to something closer to normal, which we all want.
Well, Stephen's now telling us that we have to know what the impact is of returning to something that's close to normal. Do you know, this insight is why he's here. This insight is incredible. So forensic. Like I said, I don't know what will happen with the NHS, and we have to see what happens when we go back to normal. Any bloke off the street could do that, and indeed, that's what GBN like to do. You're a bloke off the street, what do you think? As Gove said, I think we've had enough of experts, don't you? Well, GBN certainly seem to have done, which is why they really don't know what to think.
To roll back on things like face masks or nightclubs or further restrictions, given the fact that, you know, they've only just been eased.
Well, yes, of course it would be difficult, but in truth, of course, the government is already rowing back very strongly. A month ago, we were being told that once the restrictions were lifted, there would be ministers would not contemplate going back to restrictions. Now they're explicitly saying that that's one of the options that will have to be considered if things don't go well during the autumn. And that we don't need to.
He's got very little charisma, this Stephen. I always thought that, and he's certainly showing that today. It's not really the kind of exciting breakfast thing. I mean, it's not. You know, you need to get yourself up, you know, for work before, you know, when you're watching breakfast news. And so ITV and BBC tend to do that, but this one just doesn't. It's all muted. I mean, they've only got one studio, so that's pretty cheap for them, but it's all muted rusts and browns. I've been doing a regular podcast about GBN News. After I was complaining about having the desk and all the presenters at the beginning, they junked that and just put them on a sofa. But it's all rusts and browns and, you know, and all that, with a studio behind them where nobody seems to be doing anything. I saw one bloke a while ago come in, unpack his sandwiches, put his haversack down on the chair next to him and eat his breakfast sandwiches. Couldn't see what was in them, but he seemed to be enjoying them. And what you've also got, because it's so dark, and it's almost as if you're saying, God, it's the morning again. Oh, just, you know, I'll just ease you into the morning. But what they've got as a kind of brightness is that they've got a strip of blue neon and a strip of red neon, as if they're in some kind of really cheap spearmint rhino type place. It's a bit weird. Can't see them changing it. It would cost money. to get a new sofa in, or to reappoint that or refurb it, and that's the only studio they've got.
Unbelievable efforts and devotion and commitment we've had from NHS.
Stephen's been on quite a while now, and he's not really setting the world alight, to be honest.
But at the end of the day, the government has to produce a decision. The question is how that decision is reached.
At the end of the day, the government has to produce a decision, and it's about how that decision is reached. Do you know, this is stuff I'd not thought of. That the government has to create a decision, and it's about how they get there. That's what we're interested in. Blimey, no wonder he was he was in government for a certain amount of years. Not a lot of years, but a certain amount of years. He has that drilling down forensic understanding of government.
In a way that is almost bound to produce a negative reaction from NHS staff.
Stephen, just very finally, while we've got you, can we just get your thoughts on our top story today? You know, former cabinet minister, you know.
Stephen, while we've got you, can we talk about migrants? Because that's our top story today. They tend to cover two stories in a 2 or 3 hour period. That's about it.
The government don't seem to have an obvious, easy solution to this. Frankly, I mean, they are failing, whatever you think of the issue, to stem the number of refugees and migrants, making that very perilous journey.
All right, Darren, come on, get to the point. You want to ask about migrants? Just say, what about these migrants, coming over here?
Well, the first thing to say is that you're, of course, 100% right to say that this is an immensely complex problem, and there are no easy answers.
Dorrell starts by saying it's an immensely complex problem, no easy answers, so he won't be providing us with one, will he? Which is, you know, understandable, but I suppose they're thinking, for God's sake, say something.
As a strong, I know your station won't agree with this, and particularly Nigel Farage.
I know your station won't agree with this, and particularly Nigel Farage.
Migrants coming to Europe from North Africa and the Middle East are a problem that Europe as a whole has to face.
Yes, he's right. It's a problem that Europe itself as a whole has to face. Now, we're not part of discussions around Europe. That will make things a bit harder, won't it? You see, when you put your little cross in a box that says out of the European Union, it has ripples, don't it? Is Nigel in the English Channel? Literally in the English Channel, I hope. Is he? Oh, I hope he's swimming from boat to boat. That would be superb. With little water wings on. I can't swim. I'm trying to do the breaststroke. I'm swallowing quite a lot of water. Oh, I can't really hear him. The boat's going up and down. He's on some kind of trawler. He's having to hold on. He's having to hold on to an iron bar. He's not enjoying it. He saw a kayak earlier, so at least that's something. We can't really hear him. He's a bit too quiet, which is a good thing, really. He's breaking up terribly. He stopped holding on to the iron bar and then thought better of it and held on to it again. The boat's bobbing up and down quite a lot. He's probably only just out of Felixstowe or something. Oh, it's really going up and down now. I really want to see him throw up later on. That would be extraordinary. Nigel Farage, he's live on British TV. Oh, God, he's doing his usual rhetoric. You know, they get 5-star hotels. The French escort the boats. You know, they give them loads of attention. The boats go in a zigzag motion. I don't know. Usual nonsense. You see no migrants coming in, and there's no reason for him to be here. But that boat is bobbing up and down quite alarmingly. Back to Kirsty Gallagher, and the face she's doing is, oh, that was awful. She does constantly do that kind of grinning. That's quite a default thing on GBN. which is a grinning, erectus grin, everybody's fine. Dan Wootton does that. I have called it smiling through piles, and he does. He has the look of a man having to. Good news for GBN though. Today they've got a weather person. It's the weatherman. Hallelujah! It's the weatherman on GBN, because they don't always have a weather person, do they? Some programmes do and some programmes don't. They bit and bob, and sometimes they have to do their own weather. Now, I don't know whether that's because whether the weather is on because it's about a payment thing or a contract, or maybe it's more expensive to have somebody in person, en person, to read it, but they don't always have that weather person. So glory be. I think he was on yesterday as well, a weather person from the Met. Maybe some extra money's come through.
Reaching 31 to 32 Celsius for central areas and 30 Celsius for Northern Ireland, parts of southwest Scotland as well. Much cooler for the northeast coast. However, the
It's going to be cooler today. I'm pleased about that. I don't work well with the... what's that? Bit of coffee on my nose. I got so excited watching GBN, it was like I've spilled my coffee. It's not a euphemism. Thursday's going to be warm. We've got an extreme heat warning for Thursday. It's going to be a very warm day. Not ideal. The high 20s again on Thursday. Maybe we're not getting as much today. I should have been noticing, shouldn't I? I should have been looking at the figures. Oh, too late. Gone. Oh, hang on. Thursday, Friday and Saturday. Edinburgh's cloudy, sunny. Belfast, sunny, sunny, cloudy. Manchester is... Oh, it's gone. Why? Do you know? Why don't they just... oh, hang on. Oh, I missed it again. They're wily, these weathermen, you know. Leathermen. No, they're weathermen. Leathermen are something different. Now then, we're on to the adverts here. And quite a lot of time, the adverts for GBN tend to vary throughout the day. They tend to be more parochial and adverts for older things like awnings and blinds and, you know, that cruisers and that sort of thing. The morning seems to have more national ones. But I've seen on several occasions the logo for GBN comes in after or for about a minute and a half after the last advert. I suspect because they haven't sold enough advertising space and there aren't enough adverts there. I can only presume, and I will. You can get Now Broadband if you want it. I'm not interested, but there might be somebody out there who has an interest in that. Now, what's this? It's a well-made-up woman who is looks like she's just glistening in the forest, and now she looks like she's on some kind of architectural dig. You know, she's a Renaissance woman. She's got it all going on. It's trail finders. Some people might be interested in that. It's not my idea of a holiday, but some people might really like that. Quite like the acting in this pension pot advert. Oh, that gentleman wasn't so good. But, oh, no, I thought I liked it. But now they've been asked to do some kind of expression, and it's not ideal. And we're back. That was a short advert break, wasn't it? I wonder what the advertising staff are like on GBN. I wonder if they're struggling.
It does. It's good. We can see the weekend. And the weather changes.
Yeah, I love that. The weather's going to change this weekend. But it's still hot for the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Which
I'm enjoying, by the way. Anyway. Yeah, you're not. I know. Too hot.
No, it's too hot. Once it goes above
We're never
27
happy, are we?
degrees Celsius, we're never happy.
Always moaning.
Well, I think there's a
I think it's fair enough for them to talk about the weather. It is a great British tradition, isn't it, after all?
favourite weather. My favourite weather
Oh, here's Darren's favourite weather.
in the winter on a crispy December morning when it's
a crispy December morning. I mean, not a crisp December morning, something crispy and brittle.
You've got the sunshine, but it's a bit cold. I quite like that.
Sunshine, bit cold, that's what he likes. Just in case you were wondering, I wonder what weather Darren likes most. Do you think it could be a London pea super? No, I don't think so. That's not really a weather. No. Maybe it's hot hail. No, that's a Flash Gordon thing. No, I think it's a crispy winter morning. Maybe we should ask it. No, he's just told us. Marvellous.
So, but there's this new method of warning system. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on, he says. We've wasted a couple of minutes. Let's move on, because we've got several hours to fill here.
It has caused problems, of course, in trade between Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Now, they're talking about the difficulties between trade in Northern Ireland and Britain. I'm just wondering whether they'll mention Brexit here. Let's see if they do. Because, of course, they would be generally a pro-Brexit line.
We know there's been there is a sense
Here comes their Northern Ireland correspondent. Outside somewhere, there's some joggers there. Where is he? Is he at some port? Seems to be at a port. There are some ships. Maybe that's the ship that Nigel Farage is on, bombing up and down like that.
Heating up here in Northern Ireland, that's heating up politically as well. And the government says to unveil this new said demand in a command paper to overhaul.
Here's Conor Dowds, who's one of the better presenters, because most of the time they're quite flaky and I don't really know what I'm doing. Mind, they're not really helped. They put their Welsh correspondent outside Cardiff Ice Dome or Centre or whatever for weeks. She was left out there. This place is not opening. They also made someone stay up for all night and all morning for the opening of clubs the other day. So it's all right. I've had a couple of coffees. I'm all right. Didn't look great. She was in her back garden doing the report. Nice fencing though, very nice.
Wants to eliminate most of those checks that are taking place on the Irish sea border, as you can see back.
Irish sea border. Checks taking place.
Lord Frost is reportedly going to claim that the UK is ready to trigger Article 16. Now,
They're now trying to change things, the government, when they've already made a deal. It's supposed to be oven ready, that deal. It's oven ready. It must be.
Good morning, Connor. Just explain to us the effect that the protocol has had.
Here we go. Just explain the effects of the protocol. Anybody going to mention Brexit?
well, it's had a number of effects. I mean, it seems to have affected
Still waiting.
that kind of unionism part of
Connor's got his phone out. Quite a lot of reporters on GBN do this. They've got details on their phone. Seen someone have two phones and a notebook out before. The notebook, there's nothing in it. Didn't look like. He's got his phone out just below the camera, but as he's talking, you can see it. Hold it down, mate. Hold it down.
because Parliament is sovereign, and by passing that act, it is indeed legitimate and legal. But it did override the Act of Union 1800, and so a number of unions are saying, look, this is in fact a
No talking about Brexit yet.
as well as that, obviously, we're seeing supermarkets have been affected at certain points.
It has had a massive effect on Northern Ireland. And you know, they've got every right to be very, very angry indeed.
Are looking for solutions before October, whenever these grace periods run out. And I mean, look, we talked about sausage wars a few weeks ago, but the businesses are describing that
Sausage wars.
of a red herring. I mean, I believe it was getting called.
Sausage wars, red herring. Nice food metaphor. I don't think the sausage wars went, or the reporter went as far as it could. I was looking forward to the Battle of Cumberland Ring, to be honest.
Solutions aren't found.
While we've got you, we should also touch on this issue of force of bites.
Now, Darren used to be a Northern Ireland correspondent, and actually he's quite good on this. Let's see what he's got here.
Deal with prosecutions, both of course of British soldiers in the past, but also potentially former members of the IRA.
He's talking about prosecutions of former members of the IRA and British soldiers. That's a good question to ask. So well done, Darren.
It was actually yesterday, Darren. So the Assembly was recalled from its summer recess, and they debated the government's proposals, which obviously, as you said, creates something. It introduces that statute of limitations, which would see an end to all prosecutions relating to the Troubles. It doesn't matter if someone was a veteran in the military.
I'm getting to see his phone quite a lot here. He needs to keep his hands down a bit.
Those prosecutions would come to an end, and so
Connor's explaining that to us quite well. Sometimes, on occasion, it's very, very, very scant. But sometimes they actually report some news and give us some analysis. Doesn't happen very often, but that's GB News for you.
The likes of those who served in security forces, military, and paramilitaries. When Sinn Féin, for example, were saying that this is obviously the government introducing this to.
This is almost like it's a proper news channel.
And to avoid justice for the families. But while their reasonings differ, the end result is the same, which is that the five main executive parties are all against these proposals.
Okay, Connor, it looks glorious there in Belfast this morning. I know you guys have got a pretty strong heat wave on as well at the moment. Hope you're enjoying it though. Thank you very much indeed for your thoughts this morning. Connor Dax there.
They reported some news, did some analysis. Wonders will never cease. Ah, vaccine passports. This is something GBN don't like. Nicola Sturgeon, walking out of a lift there, library pictures. They do a lot of sort of library pictures and they don't have much video, do GBN. It looks like there's quite a lot of sports stories, for instance, where they have to show us pictures because they haven't got anything moving. You know, it's like it takes you back to the 50s, you know, for instance.
So Nicola Sturgeon not ruling this out. Seems to be potentially on the same page as Boris Johnson for the first time in
And with that, I'm going to leave it. It was boring. But actually, you know, generally, if I didn't think that GBN was so risible and poor, it would be boring. But, you know, it... Oh, by the way, we've got the political editor of the Scottish Daily Mail here. Scottish Daily Mail, yeah. So, but it's just ridiculous. There weren't so many technical mess-ups, although there's still time for that. Oh, we've lost them. Oh, they're back. Oh, we've lost them. But there will be later on, I feel sure. They usually are. And this gentleman seems to be talking to us in front of some kind of venting work at his house. Bit odd. So anyway, it presented about 2 minutes of news, and Nigel Farage is in a little boat bobbing up and down on the sea. It's just ridiculous. It's very funny though, but as I've said many times, I don't think this sitcom will get a second series. I might do a bit of that tomorrow. I really enjoyed it. I hope you do too. Ta-ta.